Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about how US-Iran relations are going to take shape in the near future, especially after the arrival of Donald Trump as the 47th President of United States of America, or we can say under the Trump 2.0. So first of all, the reason why we are discussing is because there is a sense of confusion that seems to prevail in the media related to the appointment of several government officials in the Trump cabinet. For example, Arab media has found the president's Middle East appointees a confusing group of loyalists. Now, why they are considered as a confusing group of loyalists? Because recently Trump has decided to appoint Michael DiMino as a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East. Now, Michael DiMino is known for having a kind of dovish stance as far as the Iran is concerned. He is a firm believer that US and Iran should reach a deal and US should not use a strong arm tactics in the Middle Eastern region, especially against the Iran. On the other hand, Trump also has appointed Marco Rubio as the Secretary of State and Mike Walsh as the National Security Advisor. Both are considered as the Iran hawks. Iran hawks basically means they are favoring tougher sanctions, tougher US position as far as the Iran is concerned. Besides, if we talk about the currently paused war in Gaza because of the ceasefire agreement signed between the Israel and Hamas, how to deal with Iran is going to be the most prominent question for US Middle East policy in Trump's second term or Trump 2.0. Now, if you compare the first term of Trump and the current second term of Trump, there has been a lot of changes that has happened in and around Iran. For example, today we know that Iran's anti-Israel axis, that it refers as axis of resistance, has been severely degraded and weakened, and that has happened in last 1.5 years because the continuous attack by the Israeli defense forces in the Lebanon, in the we can say Gaza region, and Hezbollah, if we talk about, which was a major part of this axis of resistance, their capability has downgraded. Their many leaders have been assassinated and killed. Similarly, the other axis, the major axis that Iran had in the Middle East was the Syria. So the fall of Bashar al-Assad regime also have a kind of we can say it has kind of declined the influence of the Iran in this region. Plus, second, also what on the other hand we are witnessing is the Saudi-Iran rapprochement. In Saudi-Iran rapprochement that was brokered by China somewhere in 2023, where the traditional rivalry between the Shia-led and the Sunni-led Arab state is seen to have tempered down. Plus, Iran domestically have also witnessed a lot of significant changes. For example, the economic and social tumult in the country, whether it is related to the anti-hijab protest and all that, it has basically seen an intense increase and rise, and this has come at the same time when the previous Iranian president was killed in an accident or died in an accident past year. So he was considered as a very hardliner. He was considered as radical, and many people even said that he was the one who is going to succeed the current cleric, the main cleric of the Iran, that is Ayatollah Khamenei. Now, today, if we talk about the president of the Iran who has taken the helm or the charge of Iran, that he has overall megaphoned its desire. That means he has clearly given a signal that Iran now is trying to engage and is willing to engage with the West, basically so that the West can lift the sanctions. But at the same time, he also do not want to see and show his weak hand. So he also has said that no country is actually should underestimate the military capabilities of Iran, and also they are trying to project their position of strength by nuclear enrichment. So a lot of domestic and we can say external changes have taken place, and these are the changes that the Trump 2.0 and the Trump second administration will have to take into cognizance. Now, as far as the signals from Iran is concerned, so recently concluded World Economic Forum Summit that happened in the Switzerland, the Iran's Vice President for Strategic Affairs, Javad Zarif, has stated that Trump's second term may see a more rational approach toward Iran, largely with the purpose of regional stability. And this also has come under the background of the Trump's inaugural speech, where he declared that he wants to be seen as a peacemaker. And this might also have caused a kind of jubilation in Iran. Plus, Tehran also, on the other hand, is looking signals from Washington as well, even as it prepares for return of the Trump 1.0 policy of maximum pressure through more sanctions. So during the first Trump presidency, it was not very good for Iran, But why Iran is more hopeful today? Again, it has been explained by Jawad Zarif, where he has stated that in 2018, when the US pulled out from the Iran nuclear deal, it was not mainly because of the Trump's willingness, rather it was because of the influence in the Trump's administration by that time by former NSA John Bolton, former US Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook, and also former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. All these were considered as the Iran hawks. So now none of these have received any position in the second Trump presidency, and this is seen as a positive signal from the Iranian side or by the Iranian side. Now, if we try to understand the changes that has happened in the region, so till 2023, if we talk about the Arab world's relations with Iran was ridden with crisis. It seemed that there is not going to be any kind of amicable situation between these regions. For example, in 2016, Saudi Arabia and Iran had broken diplomatic ties already because Saudi Arabia has assassinated or executed, basically not assassinated. Saudi Arabia legally has executed Sheikh Nimr, who was a Shia cleric who Iran has supported, and Iran had talked about this action of Saudi Arabia. Then further in the next year in 2017, the Mohammed bin Salman, he has said that no dialogue with Iran and accused Tehran of using its proxies to undermine the sovereignty of Iraq, Syria and Lebanon. And in 2017 to 21, Qatar, a country in the Arabian Peninsula, we can talk about, who is having a warm relationship with Iran. So most of the Gulf states have blockaded Qatar, and this blockade went on for almost 4 years. So this is how we can understand that since 16 to 21, the relation between the Arab world and Iran was ridden with crisis. However, today, again, we are seeing a change in the overall mindset and approach with the Arabian countries, where the Arab states today are prioritizing regional stability based on the economic diversification. And in this context, in 2023, as we have talked about, China brokered a deal between Tehran and Riyadh, and they have reached a rapprochement. So not only that, they are also even exploring the cooperation in the defense area. So this increased bonhomie, increased warming of relationship between the Riyadh and Tehran, this also has to be taken into consideration by the US presidency or US administration. Now, if we talk about November 2023, we talk about MBS has declared that after the rapprochement, the ties between Iran and Saudi Arabia are at historic turning point. And why this is so? This is also because of the other factors that have taken place in this area. For example, situations in Syria, where we have the we can say the fleeing up of Bashar al-Assad after his regime was taken control of by the militants. Then you have the Lebanon, where situation has drastically changed. Iraq, it has increased the Arab comfort for the engagement with Iran. In November 2024, thus in the Arab Islamic Summit that took place in Riyadh, Mohammed bin Salman again has warned Israel against attacking Iran. So he has taken what we can call as a pro-Israel, pro-Iran, or he has favored and supported Iran as far as the Israel is concerned. Also, if we try to understand, the Arab officials expect that Trump in his second term will recognize the new realities in the Middle East and will not impose and enforce the same policy that he did in his first terms of the presidency. So he did not believe the US would encourage war with Iran. We talk about the recent statement given by the foreign minister of Saudi Arabia. He has said that he did not believe that US will encourage war with Iran. Rather, they would also look at such policies which can enhance or strengthen the relationship between the regional powers in this case. Now, apart from this, if you look at the overall engagement, so many factors are there that are that points toward a possibility of engagement in the near future. For example, in the Gaza, we have talked about Israel and Hamas already have reached a ceasefire. So due to this, it has created conditions for deliberation and contact between the Iran and US, because Iran clearly has stated that as long as the genocide and the war in Gaza continues, there cannot be any kind of compromise, any kind of, I can say, dialogue. Similarly, we talk about the Trump administration. He is also pushing Israel to withdraw from the Lebanon as per the expected and agreed upon timeline. There, Biden administration has shown leniency to Israel, but that leniency Israeli defense forces might not see from the Trump. Plus, Trump, however, on the other hand, remains a strongly pro-Israel as well, and that is why the conflicting and confusing signals that are coming from US administration make it difficult to gauge how the tide is going to turn in the coming few weeks or months. Plus, apart from that, I talk about the sanctions. If it is being removed from the Iran, it can affect the oil and energy market as well, because once the oil start to flow out from the Iran, Russia might face further pressure, because currently Russia also is facing severe sanctions by the United States. Now, if we try to understand what is the common ground between the Iran and US, at the base of which the discussion can start. So, first of all, the US troops potential withdrawal from Iraq is a starting point, or can be a starting point, because Trump believes that he has, as we discussed, he wants to create a legacy of a president who was anti-war or who was a peacemaker. So that is why it is matching with the goal of Tehran also, where it wants the US forces to leave the area, as they consider American forces, or presence of American forces, as a kind of occupier in the area. So these are the common ground where both Trump and the Iran agree upon. Second is Iran's desire for the reduced US military presence in the Middle East overall aligns with Trump's larger political philosophy as well, because Trump clearly has stated during his election campaign and even after being inaugurated as a president, being sworn in as a president, that he not want to engage US in war which it is not directly, is directly impacted by. So someone else's war US will not fight. That is the strong message coming from the Trump, which can be again beneficial for Iran and can Iran agree upon. Apart from that, we talk about the Israel. So a harsher US line against Iran, that is what Israel expects in return for accommodating the Trump's demand in Gaza and Lebanon. So again, the US administration will have to maintain a balance between the Trump's political philosophy and the interests of its allies, including Israel. As far as the Arab state, we already have discussed about the rapprochement has been reached between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and not only the Saudi Arabia but many other Arab states such as United Arab Emirates, Qatar already had warm relations with Iran. They are also trying to build some kind of diplomatic relations with Iran or strengthen the bilateral arrangement as a key variable, because Iran, we know that it is a very large state, one of the most dominant state in the Middle East and West Asia. So for the stability in the entire region, it is very essential. That is what Arab states do believe in, which require US support and Israeli cooperation to be preserved. So this is the entire situation that seems to have unfolded in the last 4 years when Trump was out of the office. So the question that comes to our mind is whether Trump will reconcile with the changed Middle East, or whether it will be the other way around. That means the Middle East countries, especially the US traditional partners such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, UAE, all, they will have to reconcile with the Trump's policies or Trump's viewpoint. That remains to be seen. But overall, from the Trump, what we are seeing is a strong signal toward negotiation and deal that US wants with Iran. For example, in the one of election speeches, he have clearly stated that we have to make a deal with Iran because the consequences are impossible. We have to make a deal. So this might shape the coming foreign policy of US administration toward Iran and the entire West Asia Middle East region. That is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such helpful content. Thank you very much.